Here with head trainer at Orangetheory Fitness, Mike Wernert.
Hi.
Can you give us a short description of what Orangetheory is?
Yeah, so Orangetheory Fitness, it is a gym that offers group fitness classes. There's 24 people in the class. And it's based on heart rate and interval training. So you'll do, you have a heart rate monitor on, and that kind of guides each person individually. But essentially, you'll spend half the class on the treadmill, bike, or strider doing cardio intervals, and there's a coach telling you how fast or slow to go. And then the other half of the class, you're on the weight floor doing strength training with like dumbbells, TRXs, floors, benches, water rowers, all sorts of different gadgets we've got to utilize. And yeah, in and out the door in an hour. So pretty fun stuff. Coach leads the whole class, so it's group fitness but with like a personal training touch.
Nice. So based on the text, people have created theories and efforts to study team and group development. These theories have included the linear theory, the cyclical theory, and the pendular theory. Mike, in your opinion, what makes up a team?
Okay. So in general, I think a team obviously has to be a group of people that work together. That tends to get overlooked because each team, a lot of times, people think of them as having a leader. And with the team in and of itself, there has to be a lot of buy-in amongst all the members. The leader can be a leader, but unless everybody has the same vision of the leader, then it's really not a team at all. It's just a bunch of individual pieces working amongst themselves. So you have a team. Usually there's someone heading the team, but in general you would call that a leader, right? Yeah, I just think the simplest definition I can give you is a group of people that have a common vision in mind, that communicate effectively in pursuit of that vision.
Definitely. For a group of individuals to become an effective team, there are certain characteristics that the team must develop. Some of the two most important characteristics are group roles and group norms. So a role is a set of behaviors required or expected of a person occupying that position. What would you say the roles are here at Orangetheory?
Okay, so the role, what's interesting about our team is that our team never works at the same time as the coaching staff, right? So front desk staff is different than the coaching staff, where the front desk really helps out with one-on-one client participation. But as a coach, you're always by yourself in the room. Yeah, there's participatory roles from other staff members, but we never work as a team together at the same time, which is a little interesting. But the role of the coach is honestly to be incredibly professional, incredibly energetic, and day in and day out give their very best work, know that they're on stage, and know that people expect them to deliver an incredible product day in and day out. And when they leave here, them being not the coach, but also the member, they feel happier, healthier, and excited about being here. I would say that's the most important role of a coach.
Awesome. So we have some roles that are informal and informal roles based on the type of the dynamic that the team has. So there's formal roles that are dictated by the nature and structure of the organization.
Okay.
And then your informal roles are kind of the interactions among each group member.
Yep.
Would you say that there's that dynamic here at Orangetheory between?
Yeah, I would. So formal roles, so it's a franchise. So like we open, and then there's a certain expectation from like the national level, or you can call it the corporate level. Like, look, coach gets paid this much, works this many hours, has to be there at this time, has to close and clean things at this time. Expected to do things outside of the class as well, set up for kind of like do their homework basically. That's all like that goes into the formal part of it. You have to do these things. The informal roles are things that kind of go honestly unnoticed. Informal roles would be, let's say, something goes wrong in the class or a piece of equipment breaks. You have to be able to improvise on your feet. And the class can go smoothly, and no one would know that you improvised and did something very, very, very professional and very, very creative to make sure that the class went smoothly. So honestly, no one's ever going to praise you for that effort unless it's another coach that's in the class with you. It's like, you did a really good job when that treadmill went down of providing somebody with an option on a bike or a strider. Those are informal roles where you have to be able to like really think on your toes and improvise on the fly.
Oh, definitely.
So that is something that is very much overlooked but is informal, like you said, versus the formal roles we mentioned beforehand.
All right. So moving on with that second characteristic. So a norm is a level of performance, pattern, or behavior or belief that is expected. What would you say that the norm for performance here at Orangetheory is between the members? So what do you think people come in and expect as they're going to work out here?
They expect to work really hard. They come in. It's really funny because initially people come in to do it for class and they're like, holy crap, that was hard. And then a week or two in, let's say they decide to join, which we always hope that they do, they treat it as sort of this opportunity to come in and it's almost meditative. Like you come in, the coach is like, here's exactly what you need to do. Don't think about anything. Do this, 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 this. We show you exactly what to do. We tell you exactly how to do it. Yes, it's very hard. But when it's done, it's done. And all you did was come in and devote 1 hour to yourself, whereas a lot of times you're responding to other people and doing things that someone else wants you to do. But they come in here for themselves, and they know that what they get is going to be amazing. It's going to be a very good workout, and they're going to leave here feeling fitter, happier, healthier, and almost energized after about an hour of work here.
Yeah, and then the group, do you feel like the group together is, like each individual member is there for themselves, but do you think they come together as a group?
It's kind of funny, I'd say. Like, so for example, I coach very early morning, right? 5, 6, and 7 a.m., and I would say that 80% of the population that comes at that time are the same people. And I'm like saying everyone's name, like da-da-da-da-da, and they're all talking, they're all like, great job, and they're high-fiving each other and thumbs upping, and like, great job, Danielle, you did an awesome job, great job doing that push pace, whatever we're doing, right? So there's a very, like, it's an individual, I would say you work out as an individual, but you participate as a group, right? So you're doing your own thing, but everybody's in it together right alongside you, which is really cool. It's kind of unique to this atmosphere, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's awesome. So the book also includes some critical factors for explaining how to create an effective team climate.
Okay.
What, in your opinion, would you say are some important things to keep in mind about creating an effective team climate?
Okay, walking the walk. So essentially, a team, usually there's a team that like I said before, like a team has a vision. And in our opinion, we want to deliver an exceptional product. Whether we had the worst day or the best day of our life, we come in and we show up. Mike is Mike. Whether he had the best or the worst day of his life. And that's expected. But back to your climate question. That's sort of an expectation, and I think that a team has to all be held to the same accountability and the same expectation day in and day out, and that needs to be communicated effectively. So communication and that everyone is on a level playing field, even the leader. Like a leader can tell you, hey, you have to do all these things, but that leader needs to be able to be doing them as well. So a team is a team, and everybody does the same things or held to the same standards, provided with the same accountability and punishment if at all possible, and performs at the same level day in and day out.
So with that being said, the book also talks about maximizing individual team performance in team sports. So as a trainer, how do you maximize each member's performance while still coaching at a group fitness?
Right. So it's like a fine line, right? So you're talking, so essentially in a class, let's say everything is going as per usual and you have two groups of people. You have a group that is doing the treadmill work and you have a group that is essentially doing strength training on the weight floor. So there's different ways to promote individual, I guess, to make an individual perform better versus the group perform better. For at an individual level, you never want to do it negatively over the microphone. So if an individual is performing poorly or just doing something wrong, like their form's wrong, that's my job to mute my microphone, go talk to them one-on-one and be like, hey, da-da-da-da-da, you can do this, not this, but you're doing a great job with that. So I'm sure at some point in this class you discuss the sandwich approach, like, you're doing good, work on this, but you're also doing this well, keep it up. Like, that's happened. I know it's in your Cheryl Hart's class, it isn't. So, but with that in mind, the individual level is a fine line between showing them how to do something right and showing them that they can do more than they actually think they can. Because a lot of times, particularly when it comes to strength training, people aren't as proficient at that, so they sell themselves short with the weight they pick up. On the treadmill, it's a matter of saying, guys, I need you to reach forward and press the plus sign. So you're like, okay. And they reach forward, and like, that's the group level. At an individual level, you say, on the treadmill, it's hard. Because what you don't want to do in the same way I said before is call someone out of the microphone and say, you need to pick it up. What you say is, like, on the microphone in a group setting, if you don't feel like you're breathing any heavier, if you don't feel like you're working hard, remember why you're here, remember why you walked in at 5 in the morning to freaking work out, pick it up.
I mean, you guys have definitely called me out before.
I mean, sorry. You're different. You're different. I can call you out. You're fine. You work here, right?
Okay, so in class we talked about some models of productivity and some different theories. So there's a theory called the Ringelmann effect, which is described as a phenomenon by which their performance decreases as the number of people in the group increases. So we have a 24 max class and 33 class in some of them. So do you think that when people are in a group, a bigger group, they slack off a little bit?
You know what's funny is that in here I think the inverse is true. Actually, sure this is still on. Okay, so I think that in here the inverse is true to the Ringelmann effect. So, in general, the more people that are in an Orange Theory class, the harder people work. And that's very strange and counterintuitive because, so I think traditionally in the Ringelmann effect, you can hide behind other people. Or if there's someone else with doing the same thing you are. So I like to use we did in her class, in Cheryl Hart's class, we did tug of war. And if it's one-on-one, all eyes are on you. You're against the other person. And if you don't work really hard, you're going to lose. But as soon as you introduce more and more people into that equation, you're doing the exact same thing. So the goal is to pull the rope. And if there's one person on each side, each of those people with eyes on them are going to socially, be it that there's a crowd watching them, they're going to be influenced by peers to work harder or fall harder. But the more people you introduce, the more the responsibility seems to be spread thinly across more people. In here, your goal is your goal, so you're by yourself. However, everyone's doing the same thing. So when you see the person next to you reach forward and press plus, you think, well, I can do that too. It becomes, so I think competition overweighs the Ringelmann effect as it relates to this classroom. And the same is true on the weight floor, on the rower, and on the treadmill. So I honestly think that point in here is moot just because everyone's at an individual level within a group atmosphere, which is kind of actually helpful.
Yeah, I mean,
otherwise it'd be a problem.
I definitely see the competition, Brian.
yeah.
Yeah, it's very...
It's funny.
Yeah. So lastly, going off of that effect there, social loafing is when individuals put forth less than 100% effort because of loss of motivation. So say a member is not doing what their goal is, do you see that they slack off because they get down on themselves and not put forth that 100% motivation?
Yeah. So I think that's where our ability as a coach comes into play. Because there's a difference between, in my opinion, an instructor and a coach. So an instructor would be, here's how you do it, here's what you need to do it. Then as soon as you develop your coaching background, you start to get people through things. You start to show people that they're more capable than they really are. Instead of just saying, work harder, go faster, climb higher, you give them inspiration and encouragement rather than just saying, like, press the plus sign or go up. Be like, you are more capable than you think. I promise you have to give yourself a chance. Stuff like that. And you'll see people start to slow down. You'll see people give up. That's going to happen. Sometimes people just overshoot it. Sometimes this happens. You're like, holy hell, I went way too fast. But in general, if you guide them properly, you ease them into things, you help them understand what the purpose is of each goal. And honestly, I think A for effort is really helpful here. It's like, look, you tried really hard. You got 50 seconds through that 60-second interval, and you're like toast. I think you're successful, whether you got through it or not. And over time, the goal is to take that 50 seconds to 55 seconds, 57, 59, and eventually a full minute of hard work. So yeah, I think social loafing has its place here, but coaches, should they be coaching adequately and be held to that very high standard we talked about before, should be able to override an individual's thought process that is negative and provide positive influence for that person so they keep moving, even though it may suck at the time. It can be very hard.
So as you said, you were going on with some effective ways to reduce this. So the coaches definitely have a huge effect on trying to boost the morale of the group. So with that, thank you for giving us your input and thoughts on group and team dynamics, and we really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thanks, Danielle.